All right, so we're back working on the Ducati. So I didn't see any comments, like not even one comment. So thanks for the help. What I think the problem is the fuel injectors, or it's the fuel pressure regulator. Like it's just froze open, so nothing's actually going through. We're going to try to test the injectors by hooking up a 9-volt, see if we can't get them to cycle. And if we can't, I think we're going to just rip everything apart. So we're going to take off the seat, and then we are going to try and remove the air box so that we can get down to the actual throttle bodies and the fuel injectors. All right, so we're trying to get the air box off. There was 2 bolts in here, and then there was a bolt down on the bottom of here. So if you can see my hand right here, it's right up there. And then there's 2 hose clamps on each throttle body. But now it's relatively loose, other than the friction on the throttle bodies. So just gonna have to work all that stuff loose and eventually pry it off. All right, so after taking off 1,000 screws, this thing is sort of ready to come off, I hope, but I'm not fully sure. It's like it's got to go back, but then the cylinder head is right there, and then it's got to go past the ignition, which, you know, it's not thrilled to do that either. I'm trying to twist it. Seems to be a tie wrap holding on a wire onto the ignition. Oh, yeah. This thing doesn't feel very, doesn't feel like it wants to come off, is what I'm going to say. All right, if I can get it off, I'll bring it back. All right, couldn't get the air box off completely because these wires just seem to wrap around the frame in here and then just wrap around the box. So here's the one bolt that is holding on the fuel injectors. Well, at least the one fuel injector. We did an ohm testing, and it seems like the ohm rating is good. So now I'm just going to take out the fuel injector itself just to see if we can't maybe clean it. Oh, it had fuel. That's a good sign. Better than it not having fuel. See if we can't manually get this to kick over outside of the bike. But let me get it out first. All right, we got it out. So now we're going to send power to it, and we're going to test the ohm rating, see if we can't get it to pop off by itself. And maybe we'll throw this into an ultrasonic cleaner just to see if we can't get it to start to free up and cycle. All right, so I got alligator clips, and then I have a 9-volt. And basically, if you would want to cycle it, you should be able to hear it click. So I'll hold it up to the microphone. So either it somehow freed itself up as I pulled it out, or these were always free and the fuel injection or the fuel pressure regulator is actually not working, or so because usually this stuff doesn't like to work unless there's enough fuel pressure, or the fuel pump is bad. So we'll just keep testing. We took the connection off of the other fuel injector, and the ohm readings were correct. So this is where it's at. Also, the clips for this thing are, let's just say, pretty hard. They're a bit of a bugger to get on there. All right, so you got both these alligator clips on, and so if we check for continuity, so that leads it to being hooked up. It's reading the right ohms. It's reading the same ohms as the other one. So then let's hook this to battery. And I could try to get my mic down here. You can't hear it. It's like there's nothing. So if we take these same leads off and we hook them to the one from the other side, just plug them in. And even if I set this exactly where that one's at, and I understand that the ends are uncovered, but so I think what we need to do is we need to take this one off. And what I did with this one was on the this side, I just sprayed some WD-40 in there and started cycling it more and more, and it actually sounded like more responsive and quicker. You can even see some of the stuff that's blowing out of it. Got no choice. Got to get this side off. Well, that escalated because, so there's 2 bolts with the ignition. That takes off a cover. And then there's these other bolts like this. And then that takes off the other part of the ignition. And then that gives you barely enough room to just get everything off. So if we're having a fuel problem, all that has to come off anyways. So I'm just trying to get the other injector out. So then that way we can see if it's actually cycling or not. And hopefully we can free it up. And then we can hopefully put all this back together and then see if that's it. And hopefully this spits fuel out. Yep, there it goes. There's fuel. And it even came out with a bit of like a, you know, so the fuel pressure regulator hopefully is doing something. All right. So here's the other one. I'm going to clean it off of gas before I start hooking an electrical wire to it and sparking. And then I'll bring you back in to see if this one is cycling or not. All right, so I got everything hooked up the same. It's weird, I can hear it now, where when it was all hooked up, I could not hear it. So we're gonna get the WD-40 and spray it in here. And it's probably not the best thing, but it's the only thing that I really have. I'm spraying that in there, hoping to. And see, when I cycle it around, it just starts to feel better. It is a little concerning that when it was hooked up, we couldn't hear any of this, and then all of a sudden we pull it out, and then it's fine. So maybe it's not the fuel injectors, maybe it's the fuel pressure regulator. So probably gonna have to put all this back together, and we either see if we can get it to start, or we test the fuel pressure regulator with a pressure gauge, which I think I have something for that now. All right, so we've hooked it back in, and now it's weird because you can hear it once we've taken it out and cleaned it, but as soon as it came out, so I don't know if the gas was muffling it. I don't know. I guess we'll plug in the other one, and then probably good idea since everything's all unhooked like this, to put up the pressure gauge just to rule that out, and then from there we'll try to start it again. All right, so both fuel injectors are back on. I teed off the gas line and put this pressure gauge in there. So I'm gonna see if I can't put that somewhere so that we can see if we're getting fuel pressure. There's a possibility it just starts spewing out and leaking everywhere, so I'm pretty excited about that. And since it's been leaking gas everywhere, if this sparks at all, it'll probably go ahead and catch the whole bike on fire. I'm gonna keep this very safe and easy, hopefully. I'm gonna put on safety glasses just because if there's any fuel leaks, it'll probably come out at a very sharp stream. All right, so I'm gonna cycle the key ignition. Oh, we do have a leak. And the PSI did not go up very high. Well, there it goes. Let me tighten that up. So we could have been losing pressure there. That's not bad. There we go. So it's getting fuel pressure. Whether it's enough, who knows? Maybe we should try to start it, but I'm not sure. So I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be, because I'll have to look online to see what the fuel pressure should actually be. According to the internet, it should be 3 bar, which is 43.5 PSI. And that's like 50. And then it kind of cruises down to 40 and holds. It holds. There it goes. Nope. So I don't know. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's not, but it does have pressure. And the thing's over here doing clicky things now. So we'll have to see. Well, okay, I think we're ready to try and start it. We have a hose right there just in case. Just in case. We're gonna leave the fuel pressure gauge on. It has dropped down, so I'm not sure if it's supposed to maintain and just sit there and hold, or if it's supposed to leak down. So we'll see how that goes. I did cycle the injector, and even under fuel pressure, so we were thinking that maybe the fuel being in there was dampening the sound, but when we triggered it with the 9 volt, we could actually hear it spraying in there. So I'm gonna hook it up and we're gonna see what happens. Let me put the choke on. Choke on all the way. Fuel pressure is maintaining. There we go, got it running. Sounds pretty good. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to get this whole thing that looks like a spaghetti nightmare, like kind of more packed back up, and then maybe we'll take it for a test drive. Okay, so we got it all back together. Probably the hardest part was this gasket right here. It was a lot of fiddly. I believe the gaskets have shrunk, so I had to stretch them out. And I thought I bought the right battery, but we did not. So not all 12 batteries are the same. So let's, we're gonna have to take the whole thing and jump it, and then hopefully it stays running. And if it stays running, we'll take it for a ride. Yeah, that's working, all right. So what we're gonna do first is just double check to make sure that we don't have any gas leaks, because we did take off that gauge and we moved stuff around. Don't see anything dripping. So the tack kind of went a little bit wonky right there. Indicating it's probably not generating enough electricity. So we'll let it warm up a little bit. All right, so we took the battery off of another bike I have and put it in there. So now this thing fires up just fine, and we're gonna take it for a ride. All right, brakes seem good. Tires still feel a little low though. All right, it's ran. Feels pretty darn good, actually. The tires still feel a little bit low, or they're just really old. It did stutter a few times, but it could be just warming up. It could be still junk in the gas, stuff like that. But I don't know, maybe we should see if it'll do a burnout. She's a runner. All right, most importantly, she does burnouts. So the tires are bad anyway, so anybody who's freaking out about that, they're bad. Might need to clean off the Buick now, but that's fine. So the next couple of things we're going to do with this is we're going to change the oil. We're going to probably change all the fluids. And yeah, I don't know much past that. Maybe give it a nice wash. We're going to replace put side mirrors on. Just do general tidying up. And then maybe we'll address the carbon fiber issues. But so far, this is a runner. We have maybe another Ducati that we can mess around with. But I'm pretty excited about this whole thing. So thanks for watching. See you next time.